Hello, my name is Christopher, and today we will be covering the setup and the functionality of the PSA plugin. The PSA plugin was designed to be used by our MSP customers to integrate their PSA tools with our EMA solution. The plugin has the ability to track license usage reported by EMA and then create billing adjustments for map services to their PSA. It can also monitor dynamic groups from an ESET Protect server and then create tickets on their PSA for any computers that enter or leave these groups. Currently, MSPs or managed MSP users who have write access in EMA2 will be able to log into the plugin. As of this recording, we support Autotask and ConnectWise Manage for the PSA connections. When we first log into the PSA plugin, we will be greeted by a welcome window, which will include a link to the guided setup. If the welcome screen was skipped and no PSA connection created, the PSA connection widget will also show a link to the guided setup as well. The first step will be to connect our PSA to the plugin. We can select either Autotask or ConnectWise from this drop-down menu. In my example, I will choose Autotask. Next, we will enter in our connection information. For Autotask, this will be the zone, the username, and the secret. In order to save this PSA connection, we will need to run a successful test connection with the provided information. Once that is done, we can click Next to map our EMA customers with a contract from our PSA. Here, I have a single customer in EMA, Christopher's Bakery. If I clicked on the Select link, I will see a list of contracts that the plugin has gathered from Autotask. Once I select the contract that I wish to associate with this customer, the selected link will change into the contract's name. From here, I can edit this mapping or remove it. Clicking Next, we can then move on to mapping our ESET products with our PSA services. On this page, I will see a list of all of our ESET solutions and the option to map each one of these to a PSA service. However, in this case, my one EMA customer only has one active license, which I can see is marked with an asterisk. This tells us that the plugin will only be able to create adjustments for this license. Clicking on Select, I should see a list of all the PSA services that the plugin has gathered from Autotask. And once I have selected the desired service, then similarly, I can see that the select link has changed into the PSA service name. Clicking Next, I can now move on to creating an ESET Protect connection. To do this, I will click Add New, and I will give my Protect server a name. Clicking Continue, the plugin will now give me an API key, which I will copy and store in a safe location, and a link to the agent installer. In this case, I will install the agent on the same device that I have ESET Protect running on. However, we can install this on any Windows device so long as it has network access to ESET Protect. Once the installation is complete, I will see an option to launch the configuration utility, and I will want to make sure that this is checked before I click Finish. The configuration utility is required in order for the agent to communicate with both Protect and the plugin. If the configuration utility didn't launch after installation, then it can be found inside of the agent installation directory as the ePlugin agent config executable. In the configuration utility, I will provide the API key that the plugin gave me. Navigating away from that text box, the utility will automatically start a validation process. And here I can see that the API key is valid. And next, I will enter in the information required to connect to Protect. Similarly to the PSA connection, I will need to successfully run a test connection. And once that I see that the connection is successful and that the agent service is running, I can go ahead and click Save and Exit. From this point onwards, the service will run in the background and will reach out to the Protect server to gather the group information and send it to the plugin about once every 5 minutes or so. Going back to the plugin, I can click Next to begin mapping our static groups to our PSA companies. Clicking on Add New, I should see a list of static groups from my ESET Protect server. In this case, I will map Testing A. Clicking on Next, this will be a list of companies that the plugin has gathered from Autotask. And once I've selected the desired company and click Continue, I should see the map pop up into this table. It should be noted that I can only create one map per static group. However, multiple groups can be mapped to the same company. And from this table, I'm also able to delete these mappings as well, if I wish to assign another company to a group. Clicking Next, we can set up our dynamic group monitors. Clicking on Add New, I should see a list of dynamic groups from my ESET Protect server. I will choose one and then click Continue. And here I will provide the information that I wish the plugin to use when creating a ticket on my PSA. These variables will change into the dynamic group and computer names once the ticket has been created. And once I am satisfied with all of this information, then be sure to select the appropriate queue to make sure that the ticket goes to the right place, as well as the statuses for new and closed tickets. I will click Continue, and I should see my mapping show up on this table. Clicking on Finish will take us back to the dashboard, where I can see these two widgets that give us a status overview of our PSA connection, as well as our EMA customers and solutions. I can see when the last sync time was done, when the estimated next sync time will occur, as well as the number of EMA customers and EMA solutions that I have available to map. For the billing functionality, the plugin will occasionally reach out to EMA to gather license usage statistics. This number is based on the number of activated products that use a specific license mapped to a service. The plugin will also keep track of the quantity of these map services that are being billed by the PSA. If a discrepancy is found between these two, then an adjustment will be created. Adjustments can be viewed by selecting the Billing Adjustments option in the navigation pane on the left. Here, all created adjustments will be displayed. If automatic adjustments is disabled, then these adjustments will need to be manually approved by selecting them and then clicking on the Approve button at the bottom. If automatic adjustments are enabled, then the plugin will automatically send these adjusted values to the PSA on its own, and then will log the results onto this page. The log will show both pending and completed adjustments, and will also provide additional information for who they were approved by. For ticketing functionality, the plugin monitors any dynamic groups that were mapped in the previous screens. When a computer enters one of these groups, then the plugin will reach out to the PSA and create a ticket. These tickets can be viewed by selecting the ticket logs in the navigation pane on the left. Likewise, if a computer belonging to one of these dynamic groups leaves the dynamic groups, the plugin will check to see if it created a ticket, and if it did, it will automatically close it, considering the issue resolved. If a user wishes to interact with or update these tickets, then they should do so through the PSA directly. I hope that you found this video on the PSA plugin both interesting and informative. As of now, the PSA plugin is currently available in early access, and we will continue with making improvements as well as adding additional functionality in the future. Currently, we are exploring adding ticketing support for ESET Protect Cloud. If you have any questions or comments, then please feel free to send an email to gpcf@eset.com. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.